Welcome to Extol Live. I'm Angie Fenton. If you've joined us for our weekly live streaming show before, you know that usually it's a flurry of excitement and activity, from great guests to music. We have incredible chefs and food and cooking and all kinds of things. But today, we want to dedicate this time, this space, to the Morton Center, a place that's located in Louisville, but is serving and treating and supporting people all over our community and region, from Southern Indiana to Kentucky and beyond. Addiction, recovery, those are words that are on the tips of our tongues and have been. The pandemic only has exacerbated addiction in our community, but the Morton Center is offering hope. Over the next few moments, you're going to hear some stories of hope and recovery, and you'll learn more about the Morton Center and what it has to offer if you are struggling with addiction, or maybe you're someone who knows someone who is. It's a topic that's near and dear and has affected many of the members on our Extol team. It's one that we know we need places like the Morton Center in our community. We also know that people can recover and go on to lead amazing lives. So take a look and listen, and if you feel so compelled, consider giving and supporting the cause for the Morton Center. Now, here's Heroes for Hope.
Welcome to Heroes for Hope, the annual luncheon of the Morton Center. My name is Jim Murphy, and I'm the chairman of the board of the Morton Center. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the staff, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for coming. It's very important now more than ever to provide the services that we provide at the Morton Center. The COVID pandemic has caused a lot of people to relapse and become more entrenched in their addiction, and we need to be able to provide their services, and we need your help today. But I'd also like to thank our sponsors, our family sponsors, the Stephen C. Galt Company, Humana, Kindred Healthcare. And then we have our couple sponsors, Anthem Medicaid, the Glenview Trust Company, Norton Healthcare, and Brown Forman. And I'd encourage you to give online throughout the luncheon. Our website is provided for you, but I'm going to give it to you. It's themortoncenter.org/givehope. Again, themortoncenter.org/givehope. And thank you for coming.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Priscilla McIntosh, and I'm the CEO here at the Morton Center. The Morton Center started 37 years ago with Jane Morton Norton. who had realized that her brother, Thurston, who was a senator for the state of Kentucky, was struggling with alcoholism. He was not ready to seek help, but she knew the devastation that was happening to the family. In her search to find a facility that would help her and other family members, she could not find one. So that's where she came up with the plan and the idea to start the Morton Center. She got in contact with John Walsh, who was the co-founder of the organization and the CEO for many, many years. And together, they started the Morton Center. And being able to provide an outpatient setting and services for treatment for those who are looking to become sober. But also with that, and being able to provide support for their loved ones, for their family members, and being able to stop the cycle of addiction, and being able to provide education to the children who had been affected by a loved one in the home who was struggling with substance use. Like many in our community, I also found myself loving and caring for someone that was struggling with addiction many years ago. It was at that time that I had no idea and truly understood the disease of addiction and how it is a family disease. I found myself in situations where I felt and thought if I can just control it, that it would stop. I found myself in scenarios where I started losing my hair, where I also was starting to have problems about attending and going to work. And that was because of the stress that was happening inside of the home because of the addiction. It's services like Concerned Persons and the other family services that we are able to offer at no cost that allows for loved ones to come in. And I can tell you firsthand, having that support means everything in the world. Even though that relationship had ended, there was so much healing that needed to be done. And I'm so thankful for being able to do that here at the Morton Center. And today, to be an individual to sit here as the CEO and be able to see more individuals to come in and get help and support from that family side, but also to see the individuals walking in together at first where they probably weren't comfortable, walking in together at first where they weren't holding hands or hugging, but then to see the smiles on the faces and the people leaving as a family and feeling like there is hope even after that first session. That's why we're here today, to be able to ask for more help, to be able to support those and to continue. Because again, I know many of us have struggled, and we know so many loved ones who have also found themselves in similar situations. We need your help to be able to continue to break this cycle. As a mother of 2 small children, I can't tell you the importance it is to be able to provide that service, to be able to know as a mother that I could come to the resources that we have at the Morton Center. I feel lucky. There are so many things that are going on in our community between alcohol and drugs, and it's affecting our kids. They're losing parents. There's too many individuals who are dying because of this. And we need to be here. We need to be able to support and provide that education. So one of the things that we're very fortunate to have at the Morton Center, and you'll see as you're walking through the building, and many times we hear clients talk about, is the warmth, the welcome, to feel so good about walking into a building. We have been so fortunate to have Mr. Clay Morton offer us his artwork, to be able to provide the warm, the open feeling. Here at the Morton Center, it doesn't feel like your typical setting that you would be walking into for a treatment facility. It starts with that first step through those doors as someone is walking in, to be able to be greeted by someone and to be able to have someone from that very moment help and support you, from filling out your paperwork to being able to meet with your counselor. Your first appointment would be a session where you have a counselor that will ask you some questions and that would make a recommendation. And that is not only for someone who may be seeking treatment, but also for the family members. And it's with that at that moment that they are able to assign your own counselor. That counselor will work with you from day one all the way through the end so that you have that individual therapy that is so needed. We combine that with an intensive outpatient program where you would come to the Morton Center for education, but also group. And during group is when you're surrounded by other individuals that are going through the same similar scenario that you are. It's that type of support led by our licensed therapists that make a true difference to those who walk through the door at the Morton Center. To us, you're not just an individual coming in. Our counselors know those who are here by name. They work with them, they support them, they provide any support that is needed. And it's with that also that we are able to provide those family services, whether it's art therapy for children or even for adults, we can provide that service. So just as a parent, as needing to be able to have that resource, that's what our therapists are here to do. Whether you're here 3 nights a week or 4 nights a week, or whether you just come in for an individual session. And when I say come in, because of COVID, we've also been able to implement online. So online is also an option if that is something that would work best for you and meet your needs.
My name is Trish Nash. I am a client at the Morton Center. I have been since November of 2020. When I realized my drinking had become progressive to the point of me not being able to stop on my own, having several attempts to stop the drinking on my own, I realized I could not and I needed help. Before I came to the Morton Center, I don't know that I had, my addiction or my situation was one of yets. I had yet to lose a job. I had yet to get a DUI. I had yet to get a divorce, fortunately. So I had a lot of yets in there, but I still felt that I was headed down that path. And I didn't like where I was going. From my perspective, I didn't like where I was going. So that's when I was grateful to have the Morton Center and my therapist, who was very attentive. She was ready to jump right in there and help me and get to work. She was professional. She seemed to know what I needed before I spoke the words. And I was grateful for her attentiveness and professionalism in helping me move down that scary path. As I continued my therapy at the Morton Center, with the recommendation of my therapist going into IOP, Intensive Outpatient Program, and the words intensive is right. It's a 10-week program, three nights a week. And for the first 2 weeks, I thought, what am I doing here? Because there was such a variety of people in that program. We all had one thing in common, our addictions, but yet we were all so different. So that was a rocky start for me in my head. I had to convince myself that, yes, this is where I need to be. And as the days and the weeks went on, it became clear to me that I needed that IOP program. As uncomfortable as some of the evenings might have been to share in there or to listen to their stories, it was a necessary part of the process, and I'm thankful for that IOP at the Morton Center. If I had the chance to talk to someone who may feel they are headed down this same path that I was, I cannot convey strongly enough how you are not alone in this process. You do not have to be alone. There are people that genuinely care about what you're going through, and they can guide you down the path of recovery. The support to the Morton Center is extremely important because for those of us that don't experience addiction, we go through our life and don't realize how many people are suffering in silence. We just don't realize it. Unless you live with somebody that is experiencing that addiction or depression, whatever it is, we just don't realize how prevalent it is, and that so many people are suffering and need that help because their lives are falling apart in so many different areas. And just to be able to recover or to get on the road to recovery, they can then repair so many parts of their life because it affects every facet of your life. So that's why this program at the Morton Center is so important.
Well, my role as a counselor here is to provide therapy for our clients. So we're a small team and we wear a lot of hats. So I meet with clients individually, provide individual counseling services. I also teach and facilitate education classes and groups for our ILP program. And I do assessments, which is when a client initially walks through the door, we sit down, speak with them one-on-one, discuss what brought them here, some of their goals for treatment, and determine the best way that we might be able to help them. I think that I do what I do ultimately for the same reason that anyone in this field does what they do, which is to help people. Specifically the Morton Center to help people out of what often seems like a hopeless existence and addiction. I've been very fortunate in my life and my career to be able to transition from a former career into a counseling role because of my own personal experience. I was explaining a few minutes ago, I think that everyone here at the Morton Center, whether directly or indirectly, has been affected by either their own addiction or an addiction of someone in their immediate circle. That's why we do what we do. That's why we're passionate about what we do. I enjoy being a therapist because it's the best way I can think to help people out of what is possibly a hopeless situation of addiction. It's important to show them that there is a way out of this life that they found themselves living, that there is a better way, if only they have the skills and the tools to heal. And that's the reason I got into this field to begin with, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to do what I do on a daily basis at the Morton Center. For me personally, I switched careers about midway through. When I moved to Kentucky, I started kind of questioning some of my own life and professional choices. I do what I do today because I know how important it is for someone who experiences addiction to have someone reach down, grab them by the hand, and help them back up, because there was a point in my life when someone did that for me. And so that's what I try to do for others as a therapist. So COVID, I often say, was kind of a perfect storm for clients experiencing addiction. One of the first things we do when someone walks through the door is encourage them to reconnect with other people in the recovery community, with their families, with their friends, and start to develop some important relationships in their lives. COVID made that impossible. So we were able to continue services through technology like Zoom, which was extremely beneficial to us and our clients, but the traditional idea of reconnecting with the community we weren't able to do that during COVID. So our numbers increased dramatically because addiction and those affected by addiction, those numbers increased dramatically. The past year, 18 months has been horrendous. Articles recently being published are mentioning numbers of 93,000 overdose deaths in the United States last year alone. 2,000 of those were in Kentucky. And our goal with the Heroes for Hope fundraiser is to provide 2,000 scholarships over the next year here at the Morton Center. It's interesting, it struck me this morning that we had nearly 2,000 deaths in the state of Kentucky. So that number, I don't think, is an accident. You know, those are 2,000 people who could have been helped. Some that were unaware of the opportunities that were available to them. And we don't want to have people dying from overdoses when their lives can be saved. I think one of the most important things about the Morton Center, and one of the reasons why I'm here, is that we do everything within our power to provide services to people who walk through our door and want treatment. We don't turn people away. The only way we can continue to not turn people away is through donations. We're a nonprofit. Our sole mission is to help people live meaningful and purposeful lives. And that's the reason I'm here. And I would suspect that that's the reason everybody watching me here today is here, because this is an opportunity to help. I hear a lot of people all the time when I say what I do for a living. I say that I work in addiction. Their common response is, "Oh, I wish I could do something to help people experiencing that." And this is how the common person can help, through donations and providing scholarships. I would just like to thank everyone who's donated in the past. And if you're considering donating this year, I would encourage you to do so. That recovery is possible. It happens every single day. Our greatest ambition, and I hear it frequently, is the greatest compliment I can get is when I tell someone that I'm in recovery and they look at me and they look surprised and flabbergasted, and they say, "Oh, I never would have thought. If you hadn't told me, I never would have thought you were in recovery." And that's the kind of compliment that I want our clients to receive someday, and say, I never would have thought that you had previously been addicted to drugs or alcohol, because look at you now. You know, and even more so, I want our clients to look in the mirror and say that about themselves, that I can't believe the difference in my life during addiction and my life now in recovery. You know, that's the greatest compliment that anyone could receive or to give themselves. And that starts in our early recovery program, when clients walk through the door and say, "I'm ready to do this. I'm willing to listen to suggestion and change my life."
My name is Dustin Smith. I'm a client here at the Morton Center. And before I came to the Morton Center, I was basically selfish, self-centered to the core. I did not care about anybody or anything, even myself. I just wanted to get another drink, period. It didn't matter how I did that. That was the only thing on my mind. That's what I woke up to, and that's what I went to bed to, if I ever went to bed. And since coming in at the Morton Center, it's almost overwhelming, the change. So I finally got back to my core of who I was, who my parents raised, and those values that are true to me. And I can't speak enough on those. I've been with my family. This question was just asked, what we're grateful for last night, and the group therapy. And my answer was, I'm grateful for my family, because when I hang out with my family, I can truly see the growth in myself and the change that I've had in recovery with just being able to be present with my parents, being able to help them when they need help, actually say I'm going to be there and show up for them. And by doing that, I'm also helping myself, because I'm building these new sober habits, which I did not have before. The only habits I had were bad habits. And after doing those for so long that, you end up becoming hopeless. And from going through the Morton Center, working the 12 steps, working with my sponsor, I now have hope. And I can see that when I hang out with my family, that I am hopeful today. I'm grateful today. I am all these things that I thought I would never be again.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Delene Taylor. I am a member of the board of the Morton Center and have been for the past 7 years. I wanted to give you a little information now about how you can support the Morton Center. You can call us, you can text the number that's on your screen, you can visit us online at themortoncenter.org, or there's always snail mail if you would prefer to mail a check. Whether or not you're able to support us financially right now, we hope you will help share the word of the good work that the Morton Center is doing in our community, and that there's always a chair open for someone who is ready to begin or continue their journey towards recovery and health. Thank you so much for being with us today.
And for those who are here for the first time today, learning about the Morton Center and considering making a donation, I want you to know that you are giving a true gift. A gift to someone who gets to start their journey of recovery, who may not have a family member of support that can help them financially, and was truly concerned about how they were going to afford it. And making that decision to walk in to be able to get treatment is very difficult. But it's because of your donation that has allowed and will continue to allow others to be able to get the support that they need. To have a chair at that moment when they walk in the door. It makes all the difference in the world. And it's truly your gift that could keep them alive. We are losing too many people today to overdoses. And it's that gift, that one gift, no matter what the amount is, that could save that person's life.
Thank you so much for joining us for Extol Live. I can only say this again, if you feel so compelled after hearing stories from clients, from Michael the counselor, from Priscilla the CEO, I mean, from everyone that you heard from just over the last half hour, if you feel so compelled to give and donate to the Morton Center so that other people can find hope and recovery, I can't implore you, encourage you to do so. But even more than that, if maybe you're out there and you're struggling with addiction and wonder, could I achieve recovery? You can. Dustin and Trish, the clients whose stories you've heard, they are proof. Michael, who shared his story as well, they are proof that recovery is within reach. Contact the Morton Center today. Extol Live returns next week. We hope you'll join us then, 11 o'clock on Fridays.